One. Okay. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Oh, not too bad. Hello, everybody.
What's that?
Hi, audience that we can't see on Facebook Live. We're getting sophisticated now. Last time we tried Twitch, and that stunk. But we learned a few lessons. We grew as people. This is COFOH Live Undead. This is our second episode. First one, hopefully being broadcast. Hopefully you guys are chiming in. I know Brett and Lisa will let me know if we fail. Hopefully we fail spectacularly, or we succeed spectacularly.
Okay.
Anyway, my name's Daniel Crozier. I'm your unfortunate host. I'm sorry. And these are our fantastic artists, Jolyon Yates and Joe Oliver. And they are amazing horror artists. They're comic book artists as well. They do a lot of other things. But I just wanted to bring them on and talk a little bit more about their backgrounds, horror culture, illustration, how they work and what they like to do and all that jazz, and anything else that comes to mind. So, Jolyon, how are you doing?
Okay. All right. I watched the video where you're wearing the mask thing.
Oh, where I'm being splattered with fake blood and everything? Yeah, it was exciting. Dwight was there. Dwight's in the audience. Yeah, he was my blood supervisor for the night.
Blood supervisor.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
credit.
Yeah.
I like that.
It was pretty good. Yeah. Joe, why don't you start off, tell us a little bit about yourself and some of the illustration and some of your credits and stuff.
I love monsters and horror, and I got started pretty early sneaking VHS tapes at night and watching them. I've always been into it. I haven't done as many comics as I'd like thus far, but hopefully this year will change that. Yeah, I love drawing.
Your go-to tends to be like Frankenstein, right?
Yeah, he's my favorite, the monster. And I think there's something, someone broke down the psychology of it for me, and I've always had that stick where he's comprised of a bunch of different people, and we're all comprised of our different experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that resonated with me.
Nice.
It's always stuck with me.
Jolyon, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background too, what you like to do.
What I like to do?
Yeah.
Well, I've drawn comics since I was very young. I've still got my first one from when I was 4. Drew this Western epic, which is about a page long. But I, when we got a TV, I'd watch anything that had a promise of a monster in it, or a flying saucer, or something bizarre. And I'd sit through like an hour and a half of some pretty otherwise dull movie just for a flying saucer taking off at the end.
No,
it's really thrilling. And then saw King Kong when I was 5 or 6, and I was allowed to sit out in the living room and have dinner, and I'd just let it go cold. It was a turkey loaf, I recall. And,
that's very specific.
Yeah, I was just so I can just remember it. I was just transfixed by this movie, and then realised I hadn't eaten.
Yeah, the tummy's rumbling.
Well, the parents coming in and saying, "Why haven't you eaten your food? It's cold now."
So probably safe to say like some Ray Harryhausen influence.
Yeah, the celebrity I was the most nervous to talk to was Ray Harryhausen.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, you got to meet him.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
And I had a question ready for him, and I was like going over and over in my head so I wouldn't mess it up, and my knees were just like trembling, whacking away. It was ridiculous. Managed to speak. Yeah, he was there. He had his I think they're actually replicas of his original, because the originals had deteriorated or been recycled.
Yeah.
But he had like lots of his classic Clash of the Titans, and Jason Gardner's creatures there.
Oh wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah, because he lived in London, so I used to see him at the animation festivals and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Joe, do you have any celebrity, stories like that? Like somebody you wanted to meet and got the opportunity to?
Nothing crazy yet.
Yeah.
And
I am not a celeb. We're not celebrities.
There's
We're acquaintances, and well, we're friends. But
you're working with one.
oh
yeah,
yeah.
I work for Macaulay Culkin,
Oh,
doing a bunch of designs, t-shirt designs and pen designs, which is pretty cool.
that's cool. How did you, if you don't mind us asking,
No,
how did you fall into that?
when he launched his website last year, my buddy was one of the writers, and they needed somebody to do merchandise designs, and so he dropped my name, and I did a test, and they liked it, and I got hired.
Nice. What's the website?
Bunny Ears.
Bunny Ears, huh?
Yeah, and it's like a satirical, it's like Onion style lifestyle blog.
Oh, okay.
So they've got a bunch of different articles and lifestyle tips that may or may not be good.
Nice. Well, and that was with your friend Elijah,
Mhm.
right? He used to write for Fangoria.
Yeah.
And you still do some work with him, like your own, creative entity too, right? Like Laser Party.
Yeah, we have Laser Party, which is coming back pretty soon. We went through some changes. He just recently moved. But yeah, we do a bunch of posters for sci-fi and horror movies that don't exist, and pins, also enamel pins like horror.
Oh, sweet.
Extremely awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Brett, we should probably talk to him about enamel pins. Just saying. We've been looking into that for COFOH.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, and you illustrated the Coffin Dude logo that we want to use, and then at the same time, Jolyon was nice enough to illustrate this poster image that we've got also in the coloring book that we're currently doing an Indiegogo campaign for. So look for that COFOH horror coloring book. It's an Indiegogo campaign. Sorry, I got to do a shameless plug. But we're raising funds to get the printing done on that, and helping raise funds for the COFOH event, which we're happy to be partnering with you guys on on
It's gonna
the
be
illustration side.
Coolest coloring book ever.
God
Like it's
damn
all,
right.
Yeah, it's like lots of monsters.
I'm also a participant in a weekly horror movie podcast called Chewing the Scenery, and my co-hosts and me are doing another coloring book,
Mhm.
which is
Cool.
the Plan 9 from Outer Space coloring book,
Oh wow.
and it's almost done, and so I can get it out for the summer cons.
Do you have any promotional images that we can shoot out online after this?
Yeah, I can probably get hold of them.
Okay.
I've just done a couple of Vampira and Criswell, and a big fan of Plan 9 from Outer Space is Dana Gould, the comedian,
Yeah.
and we interviewed him on one of our shows, and
Oh, great.
so we're trying to get him to write the introduction, but in the meantime I've done him as Criswell for the introduction
That's
page,
so
which
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
okay.
That sounds great.
He's a huge fan of the old school stuff too.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, he's he knows more about Planet the Apes than anything else, and he does live readings of Plan 9 with his comedian buddies in Hollywood every year around Halloween.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So, big fan of more like B movies then.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I love it. I don't
Okay.
care when or where or how much a movie costs.
Nice.
I remember when like American horror movies kind of ran out of steam in the 80s.
Mm.
Everyone's attention, horror fans turned abroad looking for more
Yeah.
interesting stuff, and so got into a lot of like Asian movies, all kinds. Yeah, so collections around the world and going back, all the way to the start.
Nice. And what about you, as far as
I
your
was going to
collection?
ask for any favorites.
Oh, yeah. Recommendations are always welcome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite horror movie? Is it Cube?
The one I always come back to is The Thing, John Carpenter's, just because of all the practical effects.
Yeah.
I like Takashi Miike's Gozu.
Yes, that's one of my favorites
Yeah.
too. It's kind of like his homage to David Lynch. I feel like.
Yeah, no, 100%. And also practical effects, and it holds a special place. I watched it when I was really down and wasn't sure what to expect, and it just completely blew my mind.
The birthing
Yeah,
scene.
no, it's beautiful.
I watched one of his this week actually. It's called Over Your Dead Body in the West, but it's basically his version of there's this classic Japanese ghost story called Yotsuya Kaidan, and so he's got a theatrical troupe doing a production of it, and then what happens in the story also happening off stage with the same people. It's really cool.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. That sounds. Is it available here in the U.S.?
Yes.
Okay.
Screen
streaming?
Factory put it out.
Oh, okay. Cool. I'm gonna have to check that one.
Yeah,
out.
it's one for the list.
It's on Shadow now.
Just to give you an idea how far, how behind I am on Takashi Miike, 13 Assassins.
Mhm.
So that was a few years ago. Was it like 2010 that it came out to the U.S. or 2011, something like that?
And they did Blade of the Immortal.
Oh,
that
that's true.
adaptation.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, wasn't that his like 100th film
Yeah.
or something?
That's what they say, but I don't know.
It's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's a workaholic.
What's your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie. Well, that would have to be Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original one. That one still scares the shit out of me, just to put it mildly. Yeah, I still go back to that one. I haven't really watched like the first time they remade it. I still haven't seen it. But that first one was just so visceral, and it was. When I talk to people that think they've seen it, they talk about how gory it is. I'm like, it's
Right.
not gory. And when you hear people talk about like the John Carpenter's Halloween, which is I find masterful. That's also the one that's really not gory. It wasn't until with the slasher films. It wasn't until like the Friday the 13th was it part 1 I think that it really started becoming commonplace in popular horror films.
So that's one where the special effects were front and center.
Yeah.
The main attraction.
Yeah, and granted, before that, you still had Last House on the Left. That was intense. I think that came out about the same time or a little bit before. Oh, was it that old?
Yeah. First one is 1972.
Oh my gosh. Jeez. I thought that was after Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh my god.
And you had the Hammer Cats doing like some
Yeah.
awesome, vicious stuff.
Yeah. True. Yeah, he had some early Dario Argento stuff. Yeah, we just saw, Elise and I, my girlfriend and I, we just saw Suspiria, the remake, this last weekend. I was actually surprised by that.
I really like that.
Yeah, I enjoyed that.
We did a podcast on that one, and
Oh, did you?
yeah, really go into the what feeds into all the various references.
Mm-hmm.
All the symbolism.
Yeah. There's lots of layers to that one.
Yeah, that's one I'm gonna have to, I feel like I have to watch again. Recently, and I was talking to Thea out here in the audience about Hereditary, which my girlfriend went and saw that in the theater by herself, and then when it was available for online or streaming, she's like, "Yeah, we should watch this," and I sat there and just laughed through it,
Really?
the whole thing. I thought it was just so absurd. I was like, "This doesn't make any sense. This would happen." And then, so that night, I had nightmares. I couldn't sleep. I had to watch it again. I was like, "Wow, this is amazing!" And first time I watched it, I had one reaction. It was, I thought it was the most ridiculous freaking movie. and it was borderline stupid at some points. And then the second time I watched it, this is brilliant. This is absolutely amazing.
Awesome.
It was terrifying. So it was interesting to see, the different reactions. But yeah, it got underneath my skin enough that I couldn't sleep. So I think that was a successful horror movie when it does that to me. Not all of them have to be, like scary or anything like that.
They stick with you.
My number one is Dawn of the Dead, and number two is The Haunting. Always works. And then number three, Texas Chainsaw. And then after that is not a definite order, but
Okay.
there's my top three.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. I think another one that comes to mind is I think it's Scandinavian, and I'm probably wrong. I usually am. But it's a vampire film, Let the Right One In.
Oh yeah.
I think that's a fantastic drama.
Yeah.
I look at it in that respect.
That was great.
And then like Jim Jarmusch's Last Lovers, Only Lovers Left Alive. Yeah,
Also
yeah. Another great character piece
Yeah.
too. Not neither one really scary or anything, but just really smart and clever dramatic pieces. So
That had a lot of really good music in it too.
which one?
Only Lovers Left Alive.
Yeah. Because wasn't is it Tom? I'm gonna butcher his name. I'm terrible with names. Absolutely horrible. Tom Middleston, right? Loki
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
The Avengers. Hiddleston.
Yeah.
Okay, Hiddleston. Huddleton. Hiddleston.
Oh,
Okay, I think we're gonna around the room. Who's who? Well, what's his name? Let's just take different iterations. But yeah, we'll just call him Loki. So Loki he was a great vampire in that. He's a great vampire in the Avengers movies.
I'm really looking forward to Us is the next one I'm going to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved Get Out. I thought that was
Oh my gosh.
it really came together with being having a finger on the pulse of today and
Yeah.
the zeitgeist. I was just so tired of horror movies that just this is like a nostalgic homage to the 80s or whatever.
Yeah.
He's doing a Twilight Zone too.
Yeah, he's doing Twilight Zone. He's doing a bunch of stuff.
Speaking of homages. But that is one I would look forward to, is somebody who can develop something that's with a little bit of levity and intelligence to revisit Twilight Zone and create new material.
Yeah.
If you guys were able to illustrate your dream horror project, what would that be?
Oh,
When I was a kid, I was always into the EC comics.
Oh yeah.
For one thing, growing up in England, you couldn't get them. They were like something I read about in Stephen King's Danse Macabre. These sound awesome. And then you saw bits of them in books about comics, but I didn't actually get to read a whole story until adulthood. And then this company I used to work for called Paper Cuts, they did their own versions of Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
It didn't go well, but
What?
I got to draw Tales from the Crypt for a few issues.
Yeah. I remember you doing some of the covers, right?
I did the covers. The first issue, I did one cover, and then they had like people like Russ Heath do other covers.
Yeah.
And which is ridiculous. And then I did covers for 2 and 3, but they never made it past 2.
Oh.
That thing was basically cancelled before it hit the shelves.
Oh shoot. Oh.
There's lots of things going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. That's unfortunate when books get canceled before they have any type of real life.
The good thing is, there's all those black and white reprints and the sets.
Yeah.
With the EC
They
stuff.
get the sets.
Got all those, yeah.
All the Jack Davis stuff.
Right. Fahrenheit books down the street.
Mm-hmm.
They got a whole bunch of them.
Oh, nice. That's cool. So that's something Mutiny needs to get a hold of. Joe?
Definitely, I guess, growing up with the heavy metal stuff and the Tales from the Crypt stuff, probably Tales from the Crypt. Some Clive Barker stuff would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Mainstream stuff, I think doing like a side Ghost Rider story and making it really dark.
Yeah.
And like, I think that would be awesome. Constantine, like the Hellblazer stuff, that would be rad. Really get into like the occult aspect. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that all sounds like it, be pretty fun to get into. Is there any projects that you guys are working on right now that you can share with us as far as illustration? Or I know Joe, you were talking about you want to venture more into comics, hopefully this year. But Jolyon, I don't know what you're working on right now.
I'm just finishing up an anthology horror comic with Todd Jones.
Oh, sweet. Oh, yeah. Sharkzilla.
Todd Jones is he runs the Collins Comic Con. Very nice guy, and he's done this anthology series called Wicked Awesome Tales, and then I wanted to do an issue where it's just me doing the art, but get different people to do the stories.
Oh, cool.
So I could just experiment with different kinds of storytelling, and it was just to get me out of a rut of I wanted to work on stuff I was interested in. And one of the stories that he wrote was a Frankenstein story.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool. It's got a cool new twist in it.
He's a good writer.
Yeah. And then you might be doing. Stephen Bissett says we're finally going to be doing something together this year. That's been waiting for a while. He did a series called Tales of the Uncanny.
Oh yeah.
961 series.
Yeah.
So he's doing this he owns half the characters, so he's
cool.
Doing more of that. No, that's not a secret.
Yeah.
Been announced a few years ago.
Okay.
And I'm doing there's a woman named Eva Schloss who was when she was 15, she was arrested and taken to Auschwitz, and she's written an autobiography. And then one of the women who I worked on Tales from the Crypt with is adapting that as a book. That's like a 200-page book, so that's going to be the next couple of years of my life.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I'm doing something else with the comic book classroom. They're doing stories of refugees from the Middle East, so from Afghanistan and Iran. And there's a project with Matt Frank. Do you know him?
No, I don't know Matt Frank.
He's an awesome. If you've read any Godzilla comics,
okay,
over the years.
Okay.
But yeah, he's doing another series this year. I can't talk about that.
Oh man! Oh, I can't wait because one of the things I know you from is illustrating those Gamera illustrations for the repackaging for some of the movies, right?
You want to know Gamera?
Yep.
Okay.
Dwight knows. That's all. That's all that matters. Yeah, Gamera is awesome.
That was for Shell Factory. So they started putting out the movies on DVD a few years ago, and they wanted to. The plan was there'd be a booklet, and it would be written by August Dragon, and then in the center of the booklet would be a center spread where they'd have each of the monsters with an anatomical diagram in the style of 60s Japanese magazines. So I did those, and then they, before they even released them, they decided to not do the booklet. So only the first two got out into the world, I think. But
I've been able to collect some of your prints, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I geeked out last year. You were wearing one of your shirts.
Right.
I was like, oh my God. And I stopped him outside of a convention and told him I'd buy it off his body. And it's like, I've got another one. Really, really rad stuff.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to get one of those T-shirts,
Right.
and I'm gonna have to get a Sharkzilla one from Todd.
Oh yeah.
I'll take it off of
Yeah,
him.
Todd's got plenty of Sharkzilla t-shirts. He does various classic monsters as sharks. So
Yeah.
you name it, he's done it as a shark.
It's the only thing I'm scared of.
Sharks.
Sharks. Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, there's a shark. It's
If you want to talk about real life
Yeah.
horror, like the most scariest thing I've done recently, a few years ago, went out into the ocean to swim with dolphins, and there were sharks.
yeah.
Joe says
Yeah.
no.
The last person in the team wears this like aerial thing, which is supposed to scare away sharks. And this area, you're talking great whites. And yeah, it was an encounter with primal terror.
Yeah.
So, you look down and it's just dark, 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 and then something's, things are moving down there. And you think, oh, that's a dolphin.
It's 1,000 sharks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going out there with Joe.
I'll be the first to go. I already know it. Like gangly limbs. Yeah, their designs haven't freaking changed, and they don't have to because they're
Right, they're perfect.
swimming mouths.
Yeah. They got it right.
Fuck sharks.
Fuck sharks. That sounds like a T-shirt. Fuck sharks. Global warming. Fuck sharks. But save the polar bears. Oh my god, that's hilarious. So he had his experience. What's a terrifying experience from you?
Joe.
Thinking about his experience. Yeah, that's true. That's probably enough.
Just in general?
Yeah, just a real life terror experience.
Oh man,
Taxes.
Responsibilities.
Yeah, that's mine too. Yeah.
Yeah, adulting.
Adulting. Yeah.
We stopped me and Elijah were at Demi's last year and stopped a kidnapping. And the gal got away, and the guys that were looking for her came back, realized we had lied to them about where she'd gone, and pulled out guns. And that was intense. Yeah, probably real life shit.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
that stuff's intense. It's scary.
That's pretty intense. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah.
Clearly, it ended well. You have all your digits.
When I was at college, we came back one night and there's this car that followed us, and they pulled over, and when we were in this quiet street, these guys got out and they started waiting on us, and it was kind of, I had one level of my head was like really calm about it, and it was like finding it kind of funny because these guys were just so drunk they didn't hurt at all, just punching and punching, and I thought, well, if I make noises, they'll think I'm being hurt and they'll go away. But anyway, they eventually went away, and we got in the car, and my friend was just shaking so hard he couldn't get the key in the car, and so this portion of my brain was thinking this would be a really good scene. You don't know if they're going to come back, but his hands just like shaking, dropping the keys. Yeah, this is a cool scene.
I'm glad that you could have a sense of humor in the respects in a life and death situation, but with a bunch of soft drunks, I can't really throw a punch. That's nice.
Yeah, it's just I just like to stand there and go, ow, ow.
Yeah.
Because one of them had a knife,
Oh,
so we didn't want it to escalate.
yeah. Jeez. Well, you guys have more intense lifestyle than I do. Again, responsibilities is my biggest fear, and my real life terror. So, and flushing.
So you're scared of doing it, or scared of coming in to a place where people haven't done it?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. So, plugging the line, that's always terrifying and embarrassing. It's mostly in the embarrassment part that I fear.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to double flush.
Double flush. All right.
On that note,
Yeah, on that note. So with COFOH and everything developing, coming to town, there's a lot of buildup that we on the organization side of things have to do to make that happen. But in the past, I think like Joe and I have done Mile High Horror Film Fest and things like that. What kind of events have you guys participated in where you really enjoy the fan experience, specifically in the genre of horror? And no, as a vendor or as an artist displaying your work.
As far as horror goes,
Yeah.
Dink's been pretty open, and like that's got a bunch of different genres, but it's all indie creators.
Yeah.
But everyone's there to support, anything that people bring, and so there's a lot of horror stuff.
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that. I thought I turned it off. Yeah, fuck that damn guy.
I went to Fantastic Fest down in Austin a couple years ago, and that was a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. I think didn't you have a band experience with that too? Like you and Elijah were working on a project based off of that.
It was when we were both working for Fangoria at the time, and one of the photographers dropped out, so I was going to illustrate the articles and interviews instead of taking photos. And so I went down and got to meet a couple of directors, and the closing night party, they had this band playing, and it was like a underground type of like synth pop band, but one of them was dressed as Dracula and one was dressed as Wolfman, and no one seemed to give a shit except Elijah and I. We're like, fuck yeah! And after the set was done, we're like, oh, you guys are fucking awesome. Like, do you dress up like this all the time? And they're like, no, it's a costume party. And we're like, oh. And I think that kind of took the wind out of how good the music was. But as we're walking back to our Airbnb, we're both like talking about it. And I was like, I wish there were Wolfman and Dracula all the time. And he's like, that's a good band name. And so, yeah, we started a band called Wolfman Dracula all the time.
Nice.
And yeah, it's like haunted house music / surf rock.
Excellent.
Please tell me that we'll be hearing some of that music.
Hopefully this year.
Yes.
On Bandcamp or
Probably Bandcamp or SoundCloud.
Yeah. Make sure you send us that link as soon as that drops.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And so, I know Elijah Taylor is a frequent collaborator of yours, works with you over at Macaulay Culkin's outfit, Bunny Ears. And, you do Fangoria with him and Laser Party. I forgot where I was going with that. But with that, with the music aspect, because he's not in Denver anymore, right?
No, I mean, he frequents Denver.
Okay.
But he's based in LA mostly now.
Okay. So how does the band, collaboration work then?
A lot of YouTube. Like
Really?
Private video.
Oh, okay.
So are you involved with the new Fangoria?
No. A bunch of people were let go, and I don't know any of the behind the scenes stuff
Yeah.
with it, but
Yeah, we did end up going to the website this week. We were reaching out to them, letting them know about the coloring book and everything, and some of the other projects that we're slowly developing. And it's just kind of a page with just subscription information for the most part. So that was interesting because I remember of course growing up with the stacks of
oh my god,
the magazines that were just fantastic.
great interviews and behind the scenes.
Well, in England, horror movies were so cut, especially in the 80s when Fangoria was just essential. You have to look at Fangoria and see what you're going to miss. And then remember that when you're watching the movie.
Wow, I had not realized that. So that was basically your whole childhood. All the good stuff was cut out.
Yeah,
so to speak. Oh dear. Were you able to catch up on that when you moved over here?
Oh yeah.
When did you come over to the U.S.?
About 20 years ago.
Oh, okay. For school or?
No, I got married to a Denverite.
Oh, no kidding.
So,
No, Emily, right?
Yeah.
Nice. I don't think I've met Emily.
Oh, you'd remember her.
Oh, okay.
She's surprisingly charming. You wouldn't think it, but she is.
Oh, jeez. Hi, Emily.
Yeah, looking at me, you think, oh, what low grade, but she's definitely a few grades above me. But we were working in Japan teaching English.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So that's how you guys met.
Yes. And I had 3 reasons for moving to America, and I like the culture in general, and there seemed to be more opportunities in what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing was you did Halloween. In England, none of them.
The movie or
It happens.
Yeah, the movie.
Well, you do both. You have serial killers as well, but
That's nice.
yeah.
Yeah, that's always inviting.
But in England, I think now they do more costume parties. But when I was a kid, it was just nothing happened. You had maybe a horror movie or two at the weekend. But,
Yeah.
Colorado, you're like 50-50. Sometimes you gotta wear a jacket over your shirt.
True. Yeah,
Like, hopefully no snow.
there's been a couple of Halloweens. I remember, I think it was like 2003 or 2004. Great, I'm getting my dates mixed up. But there was a blizzard on Halloween night. And we had, I had just started a performance group where we got dressed up in big latex monster outfits and hooked up with fake blood and everything. We'd have a live band. We were trying to start our own version of Guar, and it turned into a big theater production. So it was like a kind of a B-movie Circus du Soleil type thing. And it was a Halloween festival, so we had like Halloween-themed bands and performance artists and kind of burlesque out, throughout this complex. But we were set up because we had so many big set pieces to perform outside in the parking lot. And we had lights, and we had all these outdoor lights that had like red filters and everything. And it started snowing heavy. And we're like, this is our first performance. We're doing it. So we got all our fake blood, which outside froze because everything was water-based that we're using. So it didn't freeze solid. It froze in like chunks of snow cone. So yeah, we were shooting like snow cone red all over the place. It was so cool. All that fake snow cone blood. Just heads being beheaded and everything. And it was a lot of fun. So and in good fashion, we all got the flu the next day. So we had to go back, clean up, and got sick. But that was my favorite Halloween in the snow experience.
Does anyone remember the Hollywood events in Denver? These are a few years ago. So there's a couple of guys who, I think they invented the cork program. So they were really rich. They wanted to do Halloween, right? And so for 3 years in a row, they did something called Hollywood. And these were massive parties. Like the first one they took over on the downtown theaters. Then the next 2 years, they just set up circus tents. They brought the circus from Florida and just set up this massive party.
This was here?
Yeah. And I remember my favorite things was like the first year, I went as Dr. Moreau.
Oh, cool.
And so Emily went as Lota the Panther Girl.
Yep.
These guys,
Oh, yeah.
Right? So when Stone character, I was even drinking the same things he drinks in the novel. And I saw a guy, and he had his like lab coat on. He had like a syringe with glowing green liquid in it, and he had this zombie cat on his leg.
Awesome.
Nice. And
Yeah.
and so I went up to him and said, "Oh, Dr. West, I presume."
That's great.
Yeah.
That's
And
great.
he was just so happy that I recognized who he was. He just like grabbed me and kissed me on the lips.
Oh, that's
yeah.
great. Emily, probably enjoyed that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was fun.
That's cool. You clearly were connected with the party, because I didn't get invited to those things.
Yeah, it's just like
Probably for the best.
someone she knew, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Oh man. Yeah. Halloween's something that I've noticed is kind of delineated a little bit, kind of dwindled in terms of families and kids going out and doing the trick or treating thing. Elise and I, my girlfriend and I, at her downtown house, we were trying to do trick or treat in that neighborhood on 14th around Cheeseman Park, and I think there's like a neighborhood candy friendly website that you can sign up on. It's kind of a safe thing and everything, and it's like, oh, this is gonna be great. I'm gonna have so many kids because I've never actually like did the hosted a trick or treating thing where kids come up to the house. I'm usually that light that's out because I'm working on something. I'm drawing or and I got a horror movie going in the background. So that's usually my Halloween. But this time, we wore our bunny suits and doing like kid friendly stuff. Yeah, I only had like like 5 kids come to the door that whole night.
Yeah, how's that for you?
I always try to watch a horror movie and eat a bunch of candy. And leave candy out for trick-or-treaters.
As one should, huh?
Yeah.
When I moved here, like most of the neighborhood, like 90% was Latino, and it was hopping. But then it kind of gentrified, and they all moved out to the suburbs, and it got really quiet for a few years. But now, the millennials have started reading. Come back,
Tell them not to have lame kids
again.
Yeah. Yeah, that does sound like a public service announcement. Please, millennials, do not have lame kids. Is there a pamphlet they can use?
We should write one.
Yeah, we should.
Guide
We have some great illustrators.
Horrifying your kids.
Yeah, still like a step-by-step on how to survive raising your kids to not be lame.
Yeah, you've got to come up with some kind of survivable trauma to put them into the genre. And
Yeah, most definitely like Spit Up or something like that.
Movies they shouldn't watch.
Movies, like Forrest Gump.
No, they shouldn't watch when they were 5 that you should make them see.
Oh yeah.
Mess with their minds.
Yeah, most definitely. Like Reanimator is a good example. Yeah. Just get them going early.
I realize a lot of younger cats into horror don't have the same outlook on it as we do. And I don't know exactly why that is. I don't know if it's, and I'm not trying to sound old, like it's technology.
Too late.
But yeah, I don't know if it's the instant gratification of like, oh, I can look that up. Oh, the reviews say it sucked.
Oh, sure.
And I remember going to the video store and being like, oh man, this cover's fucking bitchin'. Like,
yeah,
there's decapitation in this, and like half the time there wouldn't be, but it was still awesome. Like finding these gems in the video store and not knowing anything about them.
Yeah.
Besides like the cover artwork and like description on the back, but I think I don't know. Yeah, people don't seem to be as passionate.
Okay.
Like younger.
Yeah.
Give a shit.
Yeah. I think growing up, I had a similar experience. Rural town, North Colorado. We finally got our first video store in the late 80s. And it was like 2 blocks away from my house. Yes! And the candy store was also 2 blocks in the opposite direction. I was like, oh, this is awesome. So, go and spend my allowance at both places.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, I had a good night. And early on, and this is more of like a relatively family friendly horror comedy. But I remember, like at age, like 10, on a weekly basis, renting Monster Squad. Oh man. Reimagining like the Universal, the Universal monsters. And that fun. That was my Goonies.
Tom Noonan is very.
Yeah, very much so.
Wolfman with Nards.
Yeah. Wolfman with Nards. Yeah. Oh gosh.
I always wanted the Mummy to do more,
Mhm.
and that like it looked badass,
Yeah,
but like
he was pretty short-lived.
yeah, €1.
Yeah, and then the creature from the Black Lagoon,
Oh,
that
yeah.
version. Yeah, I wish some of those had a little bit more screen
Yeah.
time. Maybe give the kids a little less screen time.
Mhm.
Yeah, some of the language they used didn't hold up too well.
Yeah, I rewatched it like a year ago,
Yeah, it was
and I was
kind
like,
of.
I don't remember
Jeez.
those.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
definitely needs a little bit of an edit, maybe. But that's
Yeah.
the thing is, some things, back in that era, they, the perception changes,
Mhm.
and it doesn't always hold up. I was talking to some friends earlier about like movies like Big Trouble in Little China, where both sides were very much into sex trafficking, the good and the bad side. Not only was it very racist, but there was also that aspect. So I was like, wow.
I got to work with James Little from that movie.
Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, he's in town, from time to time. They did this movie here, which is like it's a movie about Tengu, and there's all sorts of fantasy martial arts and monsters in it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so he did like stunt coordination. He's one of the gang.
Yeah.
Good gang in Big Trouble.
Yep.
And yeah, he's a really sweet guy.
Nice.
Badass.
That's pretty cool. Oh, that's cool. Well, I think we're just about ready to wrap up. But again, with COFOH, putting together content and working towards developing our first event for 2020. What, as artists and vendors, what are you looking for in terms of having a new event in town? If you don't mind me prying.
Seeing the little communities that exist come together again.
Yeah.
Like, there was a lot of small events that you'd run into people at, and when those stopped,
I think somebody's being grinded up into sausage outside. So
we didn't even talk about cannibalism.
I know, right? It's going on out there.
That's a
Everybody outside. Bill's being served.
I have to mention it every time I talk to somebody.
Oh yeah, cannibalism.
Yeah.
It brings people together.
Would you or wouldn't you? But yeah, I think you guys building the community again, or giving like a place for all these small groups that exist and don't have an outlet, I think that's going to be rad to see. Because there's a lot of us. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we've also got Mile High Horror Film Fest coming back. So it'll be nice to kind of have those, those events as bookends. And I mean, there's all kinds of other stuff too.
There's a lot of people here that do makeup.
Yeah, tons.
A lot of illustrators.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Filmmakers.
Lon Chaney was born. He was born in Colorado Springs.
Was he? Really? Wow.
I know Cassandra Peterson grew up
Mm-hmm.
down there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's kind of
Beautiful.
well, she is that too. She's definitely she's definitely a staple of Colorado Springs. And I think she was recently up here for the Estes Park Comic Con.
Can you get Pam Grier?
Oh, that's right.
Ooh, Pam Grier. Yeah. Dwight, let's get Pam Grier.
She lives here in town, so yeah. Possible.
She's fantastic.
Yeah. She lives here, or she just has
She
property
has a
here?
ranch near.
Oh, okay. I know Don Cheadle is just up the street.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. He went to West.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, right?
She has a ranch here. She was at tattered cover when she did her autobiography.
Nice.
Yeah, she was really fun.
Okay, so I basically got to take up jogging and go around all these different neighborhoods for a chance meetup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or if we can just find their representatives and reach out to them, that'd probably be easier. Just take less time.
Get creepy. Less creepy.
Get creepy.
You're a horror con.
Neil, yeah, that's right. Neil said get creepy, so that's good.
You gotta cover it.
Yeah, it's true. I am creepy enough.
Sit outside the window tonight.
Yeah, like I do in Colton's house. Yeah. That's why he only comes out tonight,
So they don't drink coffee?
because he knows where I'm going to be. Well, I want to thank you guys for coming out. Again, thanks for all your artwork and all your stuff. If those of you in the audience, if you haven't seen Jolyon's work, definitely come by and take a look at the work that he's done for the COFOH coloring book and the COFOH event.
Super.
And then Jolyon, you're Jolyon. Joe, jeez.
To me, James.
There's too many Joes here. Joe also brought his portfolio too, if you want to peruse through it. They're both amazing artists, and they're some of my favorite people in the world.
You need to get out.
That's true. Except for tonight, nights like tonight, I'm usually an introvert, if you believe that. But anyway, thanks again for coming out. This has been COFOH Live and Undead. I almost forgot the title. Oh my gosh, I need notes. And I want to, thanks to Mutiny Cafe for putting up with me, and all the great coffee and the great atmosphere. This place is a wellspring of knowledge and inspiration too. It's a great place to exchange ideas and sausage outside. So. And thanks to the audience that came out to listen to us and just kind of blabber on. Hopefully it was fun for you guys, and have a good night.
We're still about campus.
Yeah.